and welcome to another edition of Daytime Ottawa right here on Rogers TV. My name is Dylan Black. You know what? The incredible Jim Cuddy has released another album. It's called Countrywide Soul with the reimagined Blue Rodeo gems, as well as some covers, new songs. Let's find out more. Look who joins us. This is amazing, always fun. Jim Cuddy is here. Nice to have you here.
Thanks. Nice to be here, Dylan. Thanks.
Busy fella. Let's go back a year, though. National Arts Centre, Blues Fest, Tornado Relief Show. You were in Ottawa 3 times to perform. You had a pretty busy 2018. Mm-hmm. So where do you find time to all of a sudden put out another album? Because you put one out last year, too.
Well, part of the reason that I found time was I made this record really quickly. So I knew that after a year of touring for Constellation, the band was so good. They were just in such a good place, playing. Everybody's such good players. And I'd always want to make a record in my barn. We have a little farm north of Toronto, a beautiful room up at the top. And I said to them, we have 3 days to make a record. If we can just go and play, just set up and play, and everybody's comfortable with just getting their takes at the time, then we could do it. So we did. 3.5 days it took us. We had a really lovely time. You know, we swam in the pond, slept at the farm, ate on the lawn. It was perfect, yeah.
Have you ever heard of another artist putting together an album in a barn before?
Well, sure. I think there's been lots of precedents for that, and you know, Levon Helm used to put all those concerts together in his barn. And I mean, barns are very friendly places if they're watertight, and mine's in good shape. And they sound so nice. There's just something about all that old wood, that absorbed sound, makes it just sound. There's a very lovely sort of hum to it all.
The album sounds crystal clear. It's just got a beautiful sound. Did you have to move any animals out of the way to record this?
No, it's not. No? It's really this is a country place. It's not. It's not there.
No
there
cows.
has been hay in that barn for a long time.
Okay, let's talk about the new single as well, Back Here Again. And you can tell in the video, which we're going to see in moments, it looks like a real party atmosphere going on in this song.
This song is, you know, one of the reasons I wrote the song was to highlight Ann Lindsay. Ann Lindsay is the violin player in my band, and she's a phenomenal talent. And I think that sometimes on records she gets a little bit contained just because of the nature of making records. So I wrote it. I wanted to have a fiddle-driven song, and it's, you know, it's about this crazy person going back, trying to reignite the flame with an old flame. I've always loved the line, and you know, what could go so wrong? You know, it's a great line to put on a song.
Well, let's have a look. Amazing. I also mentioned that you have reimagined some Blue Rodeo songs. So why did you choose the 2 that you did choose for this album?
The 2 I chose for the record, Dragging On and Clear of You, I felt, well, first of all, I felt Clear of You was never finished. It really needed a 3rd verse. It never was satisfying to play because I didn't think I told the story. And then Dragging On, I had always imagined it as a duet. So a couple talking to each other about the fizzling out of their relationship. Wouldn't have been appropriate to do it with a Greg. I don't think that would have been a nice duet. So it just was something that occurred to me over the years that I'd like to try to do that. And then other than that, I took songs from my own catalog, my solo catalog, and tried to do them in different ways, try to make the instrumentation or the feel of them different, and let this band have a go at them.
You also pay tribute to George Jones, Glenn Campbell as well. Why these 2 songs? Why these 2 artists?
George Jones I've always loved, and I've always done Good Year for the Roses, and for the longest time done Almost Persuaded. A bit of a tribute to a woman named Mimi. There was one of the original fans of Blue Rodeo that suggested I do George Jones way back when. Sort of opened up a whole new world to me. And Rhinestone Cowboy, I heard George Canyon do it about 3 years ago, and I just was reminded what a great song it was. And it seemed it was suited for my voice. So it's good, you know, it's got a good range in that song. And it's a deceptively complicated song. It sounds simple, but it's actually a little complicated.
You make it sound effortless.
Well,
you really do.
That's the point, I guess.
Yeah, let's talk about your trip to Vietnam. This happened in March. Now, you were there for a couple of good reasons, supporting Canadian athletes, and music counts as well. So what happened in Vietnam?
Well, the thing is, my sons and I, and a lot of musicians, I wrangle the musicians for these trips. So the trips are, they're these high-end excursions around the world, and they raise money for Olympic athletes, and then Music Counts, which keeps instruments in schools. And we go to these, well, Vietnam we went to Hoi An and Hue that are in between Hanoi and Saigon. And we ride bikes and we do all this stuff. And we play music at night. So I wrangle the musicians, Ann Lindsay, Barney Bentall, my 2 sons. Ed Robertson was in Italy. Tom Cochran was with us in Vietnam.
Wow.
So, you know, we just come and they give their support, play music, do a concert at the end of the week. and raise money for these very worthy causes.
That's cool. Now, you did a very extensive tour for Constellation. What is it looking like now as far as tour dates are concerned for the new album?
Well, the summer sort of belongs to Blue Rodeo, so I've snuck in a few things around it. But I will do touring for this record in November and then mostly in January and February.
Okay. Can I ask about Blue Rodeo, because you haven't put out an album with those guys for 3 years?
Oh, they're so lazy, those guys.
No, well, you guys are hardly ever doing anything.
Yeah. So Blue Rodeo is. I think that what we did was sort of say, look, got together and said, what do we want to do? And we figured out this is the number of dates we should do a year, 30, 40, whatever it is. And and then we'll try that and see how that goes. And everybody does other things. And Greg lives in the country and wants to do stuff with his people out there.
So hopefully new stuff soon.
Well, I hope so too.
Hopefully. Jim Cuddy, thank you very much.
It's always my pleasure.
What a pleasure.
Thanks.
More coming up on Daytime Ottawa.